Lee, we did say that the Rams Eagles should have been the prime time game of the week. And man, it was let me just say this. For this game, it was definitely a tale of the two halves in this game because man, y'all was doing us in. I mean, it was I was distraught. I actually said I contemplated. But let me know. I don't know if I was gonna finish watching the game, right? I don't ever turn the game off. It don't matter how much we losing. But I was like, this is hard to watch, man. I said this is hard to watch. I mean, Jalen Hurts getting blown up by Jared Verse. I mean, it was just, I mean, Puka Nakua just all over the place. Devontae Adams. It was Saquon couldn't do nothing. I was distraught. I was like, this is over. That's what I said. At the halftime, I was like, this is over. I didn't even. It was ridiculous. But then I saw Jalen Hurts talking to Patullo, and I think we talked about this early on. We talked about this before. And you mentioned that Jalen Hurts would have to beat you guys with his arm. And I was talking about Patullo and the offense, and the first 2 weeks did not look good at all. I mean, it was like you don't trust Jalen Hurts or open up this playbook, man. And that's what I was kind of talking about. And in that second half, they did that. They open up the playbook. Just give the ball to AJ Brown. That's it. Give him an opportunity. I mean, the dude is the top wide receiver in the league. Give him an opportunity to catch the ball and do what he does. And trust Jalen Hurts and knowing that he could get the if you have a balance, it's not going to be and this is what I also have to say. This is going to be different every week from week to week. And so what you guys posed for the Eagles is, we were one dimensional with the run. We had no passes over 10 yards and, forced us to open it up to be able to do. But I've never seen anything like this ever in life. I've as long as I've been watching football, I've never ever seen two field goals blocked by the same two dudes. That was just unheard of. I've never seen it before ever. This was the first time. This was an exciting game. It was a sucky game in the first half, but in the second half, you know, it was look, I all but said this game is over. And before I let you go on this, the last drive, this is what I said. I said, yeah, we scored. I said, but this is what's gonna happen. I said Matthew Stafford is gonna, Puka Nakua, they're gonna drive all the way down, they're gonna run it down 2 seconds, they're gonna be right there, kick the field goal, game over. I said that. And it was happening. And I was like, just go ahead and kick the field goal, man, and just end this thing and just be over. And it was just a shock of a lifetime. That don't happen, man. That don't happen you don't see that happening. But anyway, we know how it turned out. But yeah, that was it, man. Why are you quiet on this?
Look,
What?
I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. I mean, you wrapped it up. That was a good synopsis. That basically encapsulated the whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
game. I would refute that it was sucky at the beginning. It was great at the beginning. The first half was beautiful. It was a work of art,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Couple of things. Yes, the Eagles were one dimensional, and the Rams defensively were exploiting that. We went into that game with an emphasis right now, an emphasis on ensuring that those big splash plays by Saquon Barkley did not happen, and I think we did a pretty good job of bottling him up. All that being said, you guys had a couple of injuries, a couple of issues with the offensive line that we took advantage of. Hurts, even when y'all were trying to pass the ball in the first half, Hurts didn't have enough time to get the ball out. Okay. So come the second half, it looked as if it was going to continue because your first drive, we shut you guys down. Okay. So I was concerned about second half adjustments. And then when I saw that, I'm like, we got this. Like, we still got our foot on the gas. When you guys made the adjustment after that first drive in the second half and started, it was as if you guys remember, oh yeah, we got number 11. That guy, right? And he's being, guarded by a 6'7", 180-pound cornerback. Because if you saw some of those, and this is the part that was just outright disgusting to me, right? Those third and longs that Hurts was converting to A.J. Brown, when A.J. Brown was coming back to the ball, and our DB, number one, Emmanuel Forbes is his name, which I like Forbes. I think Forbes is going to be a good player. I think it's only like his third year. We picked him up. He was cut, actually, by the Commanders. He's a first-round pick. And he was cut by the Commanders because he didn't fit the scheme of Dan Quinn. And we picked him up, and I think he's a good cover guy. He's not physical. And so throwing the ball to Brown with Forbes draped all over him, and Brown is like just sunning him, like sit down, right? The guy is draped over Brown, and Brown is just shaking him off like he's a little child. Literally, it was bad. And there was nothing he could do physically to stop A.J. Brown from catching the ball. And that was the part that's when I was like, okay, we in trouble. If we don't adjust this, we in big trouble. And we didn't adjust. So what Hurts did that entire game, like for the rest of the game, he kept picking on Forbes, and Forbes couldn't stop Brown or Smith, because I think the Smith touchdown was on Forbes too.
Yeah.
And so on offense, it seemed as if we took our foot off the gas, right? We weren't converting anymore. We stopped running the ball. We relied too much on the pass. And I think we were playing not to lose at that point in time. And you know how that works out.
Yeah.
The emphasis on all of this is those 2 block kicks. Okay.
Yeah.
The first one, I'm like, okay, dang it. They blocked it. Cool. Right. We're still in the game. Like you said, that last drive, once we got the ball with enough time, I'm like, Matthew Stafford's going to get us back. And he got us in position for the kick. And let me tell you something, I thought he would have missed the kick. That was the concern. I'm like, oh, okay, he may miss this kick. When I saw the penetration, I didn't even have to see the block because it was almost identical to the last kick when they blocked it. So when that happened, I just threw my hands up, and I'm like, I can't believe this. And then my man running into the end zone with the ball, which, I mean, but that didn't matter anyway, right? But I don't understand. I've never seen this, period, right? But I've never, what shocked me is that McVay, he's so good at coaching up the team. Everything is so buttoned up. For something like that to be exploited twice in one game, that was stunning to me. I would have never expected that to be the outcome after the previous kick being blocked in the same manner. Kudos to Jalen Hurts, right? Because you and I, we talked about it. I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I think what he does is he does what it takes to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't mind everybody else getting theirs and him just being a distributor or just managing, right, the offense. But you put it on him and he makes the plays, and he did what needed to be done, got the ball to the right guys. He was accurate. He was careful with the ball. Even Goddard, I think Goddard got him a touchdown as well in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to him. Actually happy for him because I know he gets a lot of flack. And when it's all said and done, I like to see our quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Do well in those circumstances and get what they deserve. But as a fan, like I didn't watch any football after that. Right. And like I said, before we started the recording, all those late games.
Yeah.
I looking at notes and stats to catch us up on what happened because I shut down.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any sports talk. I didn't want to hear nothing about football. I didn't accept any phone call. I had a couple of people call. I'm like, no, I'm not talking football right now.
Yeah. I was I was saying I wasn't even going to call you. That's just a written rule. You just don't even do that, right? You don't do that. So that didn't even cross my mind. But what did cross my mind was, man, boy, I know Levon hurting right now. Because let me tell you, I would have been hurting too, and I would have did the exact same thing. I wasn't taking no calls. I wasn't doing nothing. Yeah, I wasn't watching nothing. And for the last couple since then, I mean, they've been showing that thing on repeat, like on
See,
every single
see,
channel you turn it on. So yeah, I don't
that's
blame
why I shut down. Like no first take, no Colin Cowherd, no NFL Live, no game, nothing.
Nothing. But let me tell you this. This game could have been over even earlier than that because remember when the Eagles were down in your territory, I think we were on like the 10-yard line or whatever. That pass to Devontae against your guy, that was 4th and 10. That was 4th and 10. Break that up, and the game was over. So this could have even been done earlier than that, and that's all of that was going through my mind as I was thinking about this, and I was like, it was so many situations. But we had brought this up before we got on. Number 47 on the Rams. I heard when I was watching the game, the commentator did say number 47 was getting beat. He was getting beat, on even he was getting beat earlier in the game, and they talked about him. So to pinpoint him, because I didn't even put that together. I know you saw it, but I didn't even look and say that this was the same guy. Them they coming over, rushing the same guy coming through that same gap. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'll be surprised if he's still on your team
Hey, getting beat that's putting it mildly, right? Mildly. Like when you look, there's a couple of still photos out there about with the block, and it's from the field goal view. So you're looking from the field goal.
right.
So the Rams are facing the field goal. You guys, you got the backs, the back of the Eagles jump in to block it, and then you see the Eagles about like the two defenders about to block it, and number 47 like this.
Yeah.
Like when you play it, he didn't even touch a defender. They just went around him and they got to the ball.
Crazy.
Like
Yeah, that's crazy. Those dudes, they definitely, because you could see, and I saw it. They were talking about it, just before when they were kneeling down before the snap. They were talking about what they were going to do. They were going back and forth, saying, "Okay, you do this, I go here, you go there, boom, 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 boom." And they was talking about this. They schemed that up between themselves pretty good. These guys played together at Georgia for years, and so they know each other, and that just goes to show continuity and knowing your teammate and knowing them to the point where you could do this and you do this and we trust you. These kind of things can happen. That was highly unlikely. If you would have scripted that any other way, that would not happen. But that's how it bounced that day, man. That's how it bounced that day. So yeah. All right. So all right, man. We put that to bed. We put that to bed. Put that to bed. So I wanted to talk about this the Kansas City Chiefs, which was the Sunday night game. I mean, I don't even know how this was the
I
Sunday
don't know
night game.
why. Yeah.
Is this is I mean, they don't Kansas City Chiefs don't have any receivers, they don't have a running game, they don't have anything. I know their receiver that's coming up now, Thornton. I think he was the number one. He assumed the number one role, and he had a couple drops, but he did have a couple big catches. I don't want the Kansas City Chiefs to think because you beat the inept New York Giants that y'all back. I just the Giants are just a sickening organization, man. Just sickening because you can't beat these inept guys at this point. It was sad.
Let's talk about that real quick, right? Because I mean, the game itself isn't really worth breaking down.
Yeah,
It really isn't,
no,
right?
it was horrible.
Quickly, the fallout. They just announced today that Jackson Dart is going to get the start the next
Yes,
game, right? So Russell Wilson is out, Dart is in. Russell Wilson didn't have a good game, but you got Scatterboo out there. He played adequately. I think he led the team in receptions as well,
yeah,
right? So here's the thing, and this is the elephant in the room, I think, with the Giants. 2 years ago, right? you let Saquon Barkley go. Okay.
Yes.
He left, went to the Eagles. The rest is history. We all know what happened there, right? I mean, phenomenal season. Phenomenal season. So after that, they let Daniel Jones go. And what is Daniel Jones doing right now? And I'm looking at Daniel Jones and I'm like, wait a minute now. He was trash
Just straight trash.
with the Giants.
Yes.
And by comparison, Saquon Barkley, what he's doing with the Eagles compared to what he was doing with the Giants,
Not even close.
not even close.
Yeah.
I gave a lot of benefit of the doubt to Daboll. I thought in my mind, I'm like, Daboll is a good coach. He got coach of the year his first year. He coached up Josh Allen. He knows what he's doing. But those two assets that was in your team, on your team, they left. And not only did they having bet more success, I mean, it is night and day the type of success they're having after they leave your organization. So now I'm left wondering, was it Daniel Jones or is it actually Daboll in that organization? Because Daniel Jones isn't really doing nothing different than what he was doing before. It just seems as if he's put in a situation where he can actually win and play to his skill sets. So what is Daboll doing with these players?
And you know what? That means it doesn't bode well. And we will see this week and going forward for Jackson Dart. Because if Jackson Dart is a player, where put in the right situation, he can win. We this is yet to be seen, but we'll see this week. If Daboll and his coaches hadn't been coaching up Daniel Jones, and now Daniel Jones looked like this savior, like
Right.
he's like, I mean, night and day. I mean, Daniel Jones was trash,
Right.
And now this dude is lighting it up, and it's been consistent for these 3 weeks. I'm kind of, I could care less about the Giants since they're in the NFC East. Could care less about. However, when you see new quarterbacks and stuff come in, and especially rookies, you kind of like, oh man, I hope they don't ruin him, because being in the wrong situation, you could ruin a player. And so Jackson Dart coming in, if Daboll don't have the right simplified or whatever it is that they need to do for him to be successful, it's going to be hard, because they got some tough games coming up, and it's going to be rough on the young man, because it's and this could break him. So we'll see. We'll see. And lastly on this, Russell Wilson looked horrible. Russell Wilson just did not look good. And you mentioned the Seattle thing. I want you to talk about that a little bit with Russell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we talk about what constitutes success, right? For a player, for an organization, for a coach, right? There's a lot that goes into that recipe to make things work. And it can't really be duplicated elsewhere. Every organization is unique. Okay. You have your owner, you have the GM, you have the coach, you have the quarterback, the rest of the players, all of that. It's different based on the level of competency from organization to organization. With Seattle, they had Pete Carroll, who he was emotionally intelligent. Like, he understood what the climate that Russell Wilson needed to be in order for him to be successful. You take him out of that climate, you take him out of that situation, you put him with the Broncos. That didn't work, right? With the first head coach. And then Sean Payton comes in, and then it just gets even worse.
Yeah.
And then you take him out of that situation and put him with the Giants, where they're accepting of him, they're embracing him, but whatever, just the organization is full of dysfunction, that's not going to work. And it hasn't worked. So with Russell Wilson's, like, at the end of this, like, bro, you shouldn't have left Seattle. Because at the end of you thought it was all about you. You thought you were a big cog in the machine at that point in time, but he thought that he could take that somewhere else and establish the same type of success. You have to be a really special individual to do that. We see Tom Brady, he did it with the Bucks back in the day, a couple of years ago, but people forget he went there and he changed the entire culture. And because of his accolades, because he was who he was, everybody was willing to adapt to him because he was proven.
Right. Yeah.
Russell Wilson didn't come in with that kind of clout.
Yeah.
Nor does he have the demeanor and that charisma to be able to get everybody galvanized around him. He's not that type of player.
Yeah, I agree.
So, that's my thing on him. But going back to the Giants real quick, if this Jackson Dart thing doesn't pan out within the first couple of games, I'm really concerned about Daboll's position with the team. I don't know if he'll be able to survive that.
Yeah, I think Daboll could be gone, but the general manager really need to be gone too. I mean, it was a good pick. I mean, from what I'm seeing, what I saw, the little sample size from Jackson Dart in the preseason, and this was preseason, all right. So you really, he looks good. He looks good. Looks like a young. But like I say, the schedule that they have coming up is going to be rough on him, man. And I could definitely see Daboll being out of there.
But let me ask you this about the GM, because now I'm kind of rethinking it.
You're thinking that yeah.
Because here's the thing. He picked these players.
He did pick them. Yeah.
Right? He picked Saquon.
Yeah.
Coach don't know how to use him. Is that his fault?
That's true. Yeah.
He picked Daniel Jones. Coach couldn't use him. Now he's with the Colts, and Daniel Jones looking like a Pro Bowler.
That's true. Yeah, you're right about that.
That's not the GM fault.
Yeah. He gave you the players.
Yeah, I gave you the players, right?
Yeah.
He picked Neighbors. You see Neighbors lighting it up.
Yeah, Neighbors is definitely solid.
So, I mean, he looks like he knows how to pick them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, good point. All right. All right. So we had in the next game, Dallas Cowboys against the Chicago Bears. Oh man, I just love this. I love it. I love to see the Cowboys falter. Dak Prescott, this should have been an easy win, in my opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys because, not easy, but they should have won this game. But again, when you look at, CeeDee Lamb goes out in this game, he gets a high ankle sprain, so he goes out early on in the game.
Right.
And they can just never capitalize. What's his name? The other receiver.
Only because you're asking, you're talking about Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens. Pickens on the sideline with a towel over his head.
Yeah.
He's distraught. A bunch of turnovers late in the game. Again, Dak Prescott throws an interception. And that's who, look, a lot of people put Dak Prescott up on this pedestal. And don't get me wrong, he could throw for 300 yards and he could do this and do this. But when it comes time to deliver, when it comes time to do something to help your team to win, Dak Prescott is not going to deliver. He's not going to deliver. And I tip my cap to the Chicago Bears. They had a great defensive scheme plan for this game, and they executed on a high level. Caleb Williams looks good, threw for 4 touchdowns. Look good finally, and they're putting things together. You would have think they would have been making it discombobulate Caleb Williams. But check this out. No Micah Parsons. There's no pass rush. And so he was sitting back there pretty. I mean, no pressure on him.
Yeah.
And so there you go. Dallas Cowboys, not a shock to me, being in the NFC East. I love to see the Dallas Cowboys squirm and go down and lose. So this was a good game for me to see.
Yeah. No, I think this is a little bit of a coming out party for the Chicago Bears offense. And this is what we were expecting to see. This level of efficiency, the execution, saw the flea flicker, right?
Yep.
That got him as well.
Yep.
But happy for Caleb Williams. I think you could see he's feeling more comfortable in the offense. He's adjusting, he's adapting, he's bought in. Let me see what the stats look like. 19 of 28, 298 yards, 67% completion percentage. He, efficient.
Yeah.
And then 4 touchdowns. And the thing that people don't talk about, which is why I thought he had a really good rookie season, and it's been debated, but he don't turn the ball over, He doesn't turn the ball over. Like, he doesn't throw a lot of picks. Like, in this game, 0 picks. But I think even on the season right now, he has maybe 3 picks.
Yeah.
So The only thing with the Bears right now is that they seem to be a little bit one-dimensional. This isn't really Bears football, and not to say that it's going to be Bears football with Ben Johnson. He's not that type of coach offensively, but they're going to have to establish the run. Swift only 33 yards, and he led the league, led the team in rushing. No rushing touchdowns. They're going to have to fix that because we all know this. Defenses are going to adjust, and if you're showing that you can't run the ball, then you're just going to find yourself right back where you started. Going to your Cowboys, yeah, this was a rough going because I don't think the Bears have that great of a defense. So that surprised me for them to stop the Cowboys offensively like that. I thought the Bears would have won this game or had a good chance of winning this game, but I didn't think that they would impose their will on the Cowboys defensively like this. That above all else was a shocker to me.
Yeah.
So I think the Cowboys, they have one win?
Yeah, one win. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't look good. I don't know why they shied away from the run because Williams, I know he had that fumble.
Yeah.
But he only had 10 attempts, 76 yards. He was rushing at 7.6 yards a clip.
He was running. Yeah.
He was running. So
yeah.
They probably should have been a little bit more diligent with the run, even though the Bears kind of jumped out. You still want to kind of establish the run and keep the defense honest, so that at the what you could do is try to wear them down come the second half, and start a comeback. But they put it all on Dak. Dak had 40 attempts passing. You're not going to win that way.
Too much, man. That's
you're not going to win.
Yeah, you can't. Especially with Dak. If you give Dak go over 40, there's going to be some interceptions happening. So
that is true.
Yes. So, all right. Next game, we had Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, Drake May. I really didn't watch this one that much. What I did see was 49ers, it was a low scoring game. It was a defensive game. This is a division game. And anytime you see division games, it typically does go down to this. I know the 49ers kicked a late field goal to win this game. I mean, what could you say? I mean, I don't have much on this one. You might have some more insight since they in your division. 49ers, Brock Purdy didn't play, and they still won the game.
Yeah, Brock Purdy didn't play. Matt Jones, he had a second start. He didn't light it up this time, not the game previously, but did enough to win. McCaffrey, so far the season looked like he's looking not quite like himself. Could be the age, could be some injuries that he's still trying to shake off from last season. But defensively, they kind of bottled up Kyler Murray or kept him in check for the most part. Kyler Murray did not really have a good showing. 22 of 35, 159 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. But he didn't really do anything too spectacular on the ground either, only 37 yards rushing. To note here is that Connor, he went out with an injury. I think it's a season-ending injury.
Yep.
So that's a big hit for them. He's been a staple in their running game for the past couple of seasons. But that's not even the reason why they lost. For some reason, who's their coach? He came from you guys.
Our defensive coordinator.
Yeah, defensive coordinator. It'll come back to us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I don't know who his offensive coordinator is, but they still don't seem to have it together. You have Kyler Murray, you have Marvin Harrison Jr., and that connection isn't clicking.
Yeah.
From last year to this year, those two they still don't seem to have a good rapport.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be better than this. And they need to fix that.
Yeah.
Because the offense just looks pedestrian.
Mm-hmm. And what I was going to say real quick, not to cut you off, but you would think with Kyler Murray and these weapons that they have that it would look better,
Right.
And the coach is Jonathan Gannon.
Gannon.
Yeah. So you would think it would look better, but I don't know. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not mad at it. I wanted to stay pedestrian, right? They're in our division. I don't want them I don't want them lighting it up. So it was the game. I wasn't impressed by either team. They both came in undefeated. 49ers are now 3-0. I'm not really concerned about the 49ers. I'm not concerned about the Cardinals. So it is what it is. But yeah, I think the Cardinals, they still have something that they need to figure out on that offensive side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely some things they got to figure out, especially like you said on the offense. All right. Next game, we had let's pull this up here. We had the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks. So Seahawks won 44-13, and from this game, Seattle jumped out early, man. I think by the end of the first quarter, I think it was 21-0. I think it was. And then in this game, they also had a block punt, that led to a touchdown. And so, this was one of those games. The Saints didn't even the offense didn't look good. They didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So they didn't look good at all. This is a Kellen Moore offense, and he was with the Eagles last year. So I don't know. They may not have the personnel. They're kind of old, actually. When you look at the Saints, they're old up and down that offense. And so I think Sam Darnold, let me see here. I think he was 14 of 18, 218 yards, 2 TDs. So, efficient game. Spencer Rattler, it's kind of the same, mixed performance, 28 of 39. Again, almost like we say with Dak, 39 passing attempts, 218 yards. Well, you know what? This is something when I look at that stat, Kellen Moore does like to throw the ball a lot, and that's how it was starting out in Philly last year, by throwing it more than running when you had Saquon. Then they kind of flipped the script, and so now he's back to doing what he likes to do, which is pass the ball. And you got Spencer Rattler, which he does not need to have 39 attempts throwing the ball. So, and Alvin Kamara, I don't know how he's looking. So they got a lot of issues in New Orleans, man. It just they need a whole personnel revamp on the offensive side.
Yeah, they need an overhaul. Like you said, the team is pretty old, especially on the defensive side. But I mean, like you said, the Seahawks, they jumped out quick on this one. I think at the end of the half, it was 38-6.
Yeah,
At the end of the half.
yeah, that's it.
So with the Saints, they don't have the personnel to be able to come back from something like that. And when you're in any position, when the team knows that you're going to be passing, and all they got to do now is pin theirs back in attack, you're at a big disadvantage.
Yeah, yeah.
So nothing really much to talk about on this game. Seahawks, they jumped out. They look good. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he came into the game. I think he had an illness, but he was able to shake that off. Darnold looks good anytime he's in a position where they're out in front. Like he plays with a lead pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when he has a lot of pressure on him, that's when he kind of falters. So that never happened this game. They blew out the Saints. Nothing much else to say about that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's move on to Denver Broncos and the Chargers. Chargers win by a field goal, 23-20. Denver Broncos again had a ton of penalties, man. 10 penalties for 90 yards. They kind of from what I was looking at, they kind of struggle on third down. They were 2 of 13 on third downs. You can't win. You can't win like that. So I remember you were saying, you had a question mark about Bo Nix, and what he's looking like, and I think he's taken a step back from last year. I don't know what I guess people have adjusted to him or what have you, but Denver just doesn't look good. They're not looking like how they looked last year.
Yeah, I think out of all the quarterbacks, he was going to get hit with that sophomore slump the hardest, especially after the success he had last season. Nothing really jumps out when you analyze him from an athletic trait perspective. He's accurate enough. He knows how to run the Sean Payton offense. That's about it, but not to the degree of a Drew Brees. So it doesn't surprise me that he's his play has taken a hit a little bit this season. Maybe they come up with some tricks or some tweaks and modifications to the offense to compensate for that. But I don't know. Dobbins, the running back, he looks good, but they only ran the ball 11 times. So, and that's what I'm not getting with some of these teams, man. Like, you're giving up on the run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're having success with the
Yeah.
run. And so maybe it's the game script, maybe it's the flow of the game, maybe that's what's going on. But for the most part, I think if you just have a little bit more commitment to running the ball, then you could find yourself in more favorable third down situations. So with them, that didn't happen. The Chargers, Herbert, right? 28, and he threw the ball a ton.
Yeah.
He threw the ball a ton. Najee Harris, he went down with an injury, so the rookie had to come in. So that's kind of understandable because your main running back went down. But Herbert threw for 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I just think this was just a battle of the defenses, making enough plays to put the team in position to win.
Yeah.
And the Chargers, they're a well-coached team with Harbaugh, and they pulled it out.
Yeah. Yeah. How many attempts did Herbert have?
Like I said, 47. He had a lot.
The one thing about Herbert that is impressive, he's a natural born QB. He could pass the ball. He could have high attempts and be effective. He's one quarterback that I see that he could have high attempts and really be effective. He's impressing me this year, man.
Who are you talking about? You talking about Herbert?
I'm talking about Herbert, man.
We need to take a clip of what you were saying at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. I think
contrast that with what you just said.
Yeah, I underestimated Herbert, man. I really did underestimate him. I'm watching him more closely now, and I'm just seeing how he operates. He operates good, but like I said, he still needs to do this in the playoffs.
Agreed. I agree.
But he looking good. All right, so moving on to the Green Bay Packers against the Cleveland Browns. This was a shocker. This was a shocker, man. Cleveland Browns win at the end of the game, closing 55-yard field goal.
Let me jump on this one real quick,
go
right?
ahead.
Because I had even though I picked the Packers to win this game.
Yeah.
But I had a feeling, not that the Browns were going to win. I'm still shocked that the Browns won. But I had a feeling that the Browns defense was going to come out and play based on what they did with the Ravens last week and how they kept Derrick Henry in check.
Yeah.
And when you compare the quarterbacks with the Ravens and the Packers, everybody talking about Jordan Love being an MVP this season, I don't see it. He's not on the level of Lamar Jackson.
No.
So I had a feeling that the Browns defense were going to keep them in it, keep it close, but I'm really surprised that they pulled out the win.
Yeah.
This Browns defense is there's nothing to play with, man.
No,
they are like, I think they're top 3 defense right now in the league, the way that they're playing.
Yeah.
Maybe the top defense altogether.
Yeah.
All right. So kudos for them. They're in the AFC North. So they're not gonna beat the Ravens, but Browns may be a wild card team.
They could
in the AFC.
Yeah, I could see them getting there. I was surprised to see Joe Flacco back in the game. I thought Dylan Gabriel was going to continue to, because I know they brought him in the last game, but they went back with Joe Flacco. I thought the Flacco experiment was going to be over.
No,
but they stuck with went back with Joe Flacco. I think at some point, Dylan Gabriel is going to take over. I mean, Flacco, 142 yards, passing, 36 attempts, 21 to 36, 1 interception.
No touchdowns.
Yeah. No touchdowns. So, the Browns, he did just enough to keep them in the game, and the defense just did the rest. And just really kept them rolling. But
shout out to the rookie Quinyon Judkins, right, the running back, because he's been a revelation for them since he took on the lead running back role.
That's a good point. And that may be what actually helps them now to turn the corner because you got the defense, and now you added Judkins in there, and that's something. That's something. So we're gonna move to this next game because it kind of correlates with the Raiders and the Commanders. So the Commanders won this game 41-24, but we were talking about Ashton Genty before this, and when you look at Judkins and you look at Ashton Genty, right? Ashton Genty, number one running back, off the board.
Yep.
He hasn't looked really impressive. But you got some of these other running backs that are in there now. This is early in the season. Early in the season. But I did say that there will be another running back that will jump up and surprise everybody.
This guy.
And so it's still early. It's still gonna happen for Ashton Genty, but he doesn't look good. The Commanders without Jaden Daniels win this game 41-24. And so, I don't know. Like you said, the Raiders scheme or whatever it is going on there with him is just not working right now.
Yeah, with Ashton Genty, the Raiders, the personnel isn't there to support him. They don't have a good line, and they didn't have a good line coming into the season. There were talks that even, before the draft, that the Raiders were targeting Genty, and the concern was, do they have the support that's needed in order for him to be successful? Obviously, the answer for that right now is no. He's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any other running back in the league. It's hard for any running back to be successful under those conditions. So I don't put this on Genty. I think the Raiders need to do a better job of putting him in a position to be successful. And until that happens, I don't care who you are. You're not going to have a lot of positive movement if you're having to worry about a defender as soon as you get the handoff.
Yeah. It's going to be tough sledding for him.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right. So in this next game, I talked about this. This is Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars. Not really that exciting of a game, but what really got me is I like to see coaches, African American coaches. I'm just saying what it is. I like to see them succeed. Right now D'Amico Ryans is 0-3. I thought they were going to win this game, but they just come up short. CJ Stroud. I mean, Nico Collins had a great game. It was 10-10 going into the fourth quarter. I just thought they were gonna, pull this one out, but unfortunately, it just didn't happen for them. And something else in this game. Have you heard anything from Travis Hunter? Have you? It really hadn't. He hadn't really, done anything that's making stat lines or anything like that. I'd have to go back and watch, some of his snaps, specifically, but hadn't heard from him either, not from a passing standpoint or from a defensive standpoint. So
nope. He had one reception for 21 yards, and then on defense he had 3 solo tackles.
Yeah, see. Yeah.
You're doing too much, bro. You're doing too much.
You got it. Yeah.
You're doing too much. Right? I never thought that it would be, and I got to be careful because I've been proven wrong a lot lately, right? But you're looking at the physics of it. One, you're not that big of a person, right? Of a player. And you're in here with grown behind men. Like, these are grown men.
Yeah.
I always thought it was an insult to everybody else playing football to think that some rookie could come in, play both ways the majority of the time, and be successful doing it.
Yeah.
Not that you can't do it, but to be successful. And by being successful, that means you're making plays. You're being impactful on both sides of the... No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No. Not in the NFL.
No.
Like, even when Dion did it, that was like a part-time basis.
Right.
And it wasn't every game.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
They definitely gonna have to figure it out. Put him on one side of the ball.
Yeah, man.
And let him try to dominate on one side.
Get your footing first. Like, learn the nuances of the game first before you try to insert yourself as a two-time, like going both ways.
Right. Yeah.
No, not as a rookie.
I agree.
That's not gonna work.
I agree with you on that. Yeah. So, okay. This next game, I really have to eat crow on this one. Minnesota Vikings 48, Cincinnati Bengals 10. Carson Wentz.
Carson
Carson
Wentz.
Wentz. Carson Wentz has a big game. A dominant performance by Minnesota. Carson Wentz has a good game. But Cincinnati Bengals, we knew they were going to lose because their quarterback isn't there, and they're just struggling to move the ball. But Carson Wentz really, what was Carson Wentz stat line?
So Carson Wentz came in there. He was 14 or 20 for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Okay, all right.
Right. So I mean, the game is really predicated right now off of the defense.
Defense, yeah.
One, kudos to Brian Flores. He called a good defensive game. But you had the Vikings cornerback, what's his name? Rodgers.
Isaiah Rodgers. Yes,
who
yes.
had I don't think I've ever seen a game like this by any defender.
That's a big game. Yeah.
Right. So he had an interception for a touchdown, 87-yard touchdown. He had a fumble also for a touchdown. Right. And I mean, the dude was all over the field. He was all over the field. So I think he had an out-of-body experience playing. But again, Brian Flores, I think, is showing himself to be in contention for another head coaching job, because
I agree.
what he's doing with this defense, contrasting to what Tua's doing, right? And
Right.
I'm going to always draw that comparison, but
Yeah.
I think Brian Flores is showing that he's still, the top not defending, but defensive coordinator
Yeah.
in this league.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. Definitely looking good. So I'll eat crow on this one with Carson Wentz, but guess what? That's only one game.
Only one game.
The real Carson will show up eventually. He will show up eventually. So JJ McCarthy, get yourself healthy, man. And come on back.
Come on now.
Yeah. All right. Hey, man, what's going on in Atlanta? The Atlanta Falcons, man. They helter skelter. I mean, what is going on with that? I mean, they were supposedly the number 2 defense in the league, or right there with Cleveland, one of the young defenders. They got it going on. They got an offense. They got Penix. They got weapons, and you don't score nothing. You shut out by the Carolina Panthers.
Disgusting.
I mean, I know it's a division game, but you got to score something.
Disgusting.
What's going
horrible.
on?
It was horrible. So, you and I, we're in the same fantasy league, right? I have another one. It's like a throwaway league that it was public league that I'm in. I don't pay much attention, but I'm in it just for just to play around. And this one, I went ahead and I picked the Atlanta Falcons defense for this week. Why did I do that? Why do that?
Yeah.
I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like all into the hype. Like, yeah, this defense is for real. I really thought it was.
Yeah.
And for them to go, not only just on offense, not score a point,
right,
but to give up 30 points to Bryce Young and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, man.
I'm appalled, right? So Raheem, he has a lot of figuring out to do. But what blew my mind was the fact that when you have something like that take place and you're having all of these inconsistencies leading up to this inflection point, you're thinking, okay, we got to make an adjustment. Somewhat like heads are going to roll. Someone is going to lose a job. Someone is going to be impacted by this fallout. And for them to fire the wide receiver coach. So let me get this right. You lost 30-0.
Yeah.
And your adjustment, the blame is on the wide receiver coach.
Wide receiver coach, man.
Make this make sense, Lynx. Make this make sense, because I don't understand it.
I don't know.
I don't understand.
He couldn't. I guess Drake London wasn't getting open. I don't know. Whatever.
A shout out to Ike Hilliard. He's the wide receiver coach who got basically,
shafted, man.
He got shafted in this.
Yeah.
Right. They basically saying that this was your fault.
Right.
Ex Florida Gator wide receiver.
Yeah.
New York Giants / Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I liked this game as a player.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. He was a wide receiver, of course. But to fire him,
Yeah.
nobody even knew he was even there. I didn't even know he was coaching.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
And it's his fault?
It's his fault, man.
Come on, man.
Raheem knows, right?
Come on.
Raheem is saying, Arthur Blank say, I give you, you got the players, and now you got to figure this thing out. They thought they was going somewhere, but this game totally, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but you're right. To fire Ike Hilliard, come on, man. Y'all didn't score any points, and you allowed 30 points. Come on, man. And Raheem is a defensive coach, right? Because he was with Tampa first. Then he came to you guys. He was with you guys, right? Was he in the defensive coordinator role?
So he started with Washington.
Mm.
He got hired by the Bucs as their head coach. At that time, he was the youngest head coach in the league. Then he goes to Atlanta. That's where the Atlanta connection comes into play.
Right.
Right. He was there in Atlanta when Dan Quinn
Mm-hmm.
was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle Shanahan, I believe, was the offensive coordinator at that time. From there, he comes to the Rams. And yes, he was our defensive coordinator. Now, here's the thing with Raheem. Raheem, through his travels, he has been an interim head coach. He has been a wide receivers coach. He has been, I believe, an assistant offensive coordinator. Okay. So he's had his hands in a lot of different, like he's worn a lot of different hats as a coach.
Yeah.
So he knows how to coach both sides of the ball. So I consider Raheem Morris a coach, not specifically just a defensive minded coach. He knows how to coach.
Yeah.
But this ain't working.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something's like he need, like if you needed to fire someone, it should have been someone who was actually maybe the passing game coordinator.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to coach if you didn't want to fire the offensive coordinator, the guy that was calling like the passing plays,
Mm-hmm.
but he did it in reverse. Like he fired the wide receiver coach and the passing game coordinator. He gave him the wide receiver coaching responsibilities as well.
Yeah, well,
So I'm like, I don't know how much of an impact that's going to make with what's happening, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I think that was a bad call. That was a bad call.
Yeah. I'm gonna follow this closely with Atlanta and see what transpires.
Because it's not gonna get any easier than the Panthers from here.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I could see if it was the Packers or if it was the Eagles that blew them out.
Yeah.
Or the Rams, or even if it was the Bucs.
Yeah.
This was the Panthers, man. Like Panthers. I don't see it getting any.
Yeah. That's sad. We keep eyes on it, man. Speaking of the Bucs, they did win 29-27 in a thriller that came down to the wire. This game also included another block punt by the Jets to go up late in the fourth quarter of this game. They were up
field goal.
Yep, they went up, scored a touchdown off the block field goal, and went up. I think it was like with 2 minutes left in the game. They were up 26 to what was it? 27-26. I'm sorry. The Jets were up. And Baker Mayfield drives the Bucs down. And they run the clock down and they kick a last second field goal to beat the Jets, man. So the Bucs are looking good, looking like they're doing something. They're 3-0. So yeah.
You know what's so funny? That 27-26, that was the exact same score we had before ours got crazy. And the exact opposite happened. Anyway,
that's crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, but the Jets, because I saw the clip with Aaron Glenn strutting and
yeah.
He had the game won. Sit down, right? And try again. You 0-3.
0-3, man.
I got to give my kudos to Baker Mayfield. It's been I'm happy to see the turnaround that he's had. I didn't think much of him when he came into the league 'cause I thought he was too brazen, too cocky, and he didn't really. And I hate to see when players come in and you haven't done anything
Right,
to
right.
warrant that type of, bravado. Like you got to earn your chops, especially when in the NFL, you got to earn your stripes first, right? But kudos to him. He got humbled and he didn't quit. He got kind of tossed around a little bit. I had a short stint with the Rams. Had that remarkable comeback off of just 2 days practice with us, and then it landed with the Bucks, and now he's having one of the best resurgence
Yeah.
as a quarterback I think I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's actually backing it up also with maturity. He seems to be a true leader, and all of these comebacks that he's orchestrating, man, it's good. It's good to see when players have that kind of a turnaround and they're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Bucks look like, the Browns, maybe you gave up on them a little bit too early.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. He definitely has, and I agree with you. The resurgence that he's had, and I think you made a good point. Maturity. I think that's what really turned it around for him. Just looking at this, taking this in a as more seriously and maturing in his game and also his personal life. It just seems like he's just a more solid person.
Mm-hmm.
Looking good for him. Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game. I call him old man. So if you guys hear me referencing old man, that's Aaron Rodgers. The reason why, okay, I know you asked me this before. What's my issue with Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers to me is just one of these guys that he was just he kept the Steelers on hold all off season. He's this prima donna. He just very arrogant, and thinking, he's all of this. I'm, it just he kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, he got them this win against the New England Patriots, which I thought the Patriots were going to win this game because they were looking pretty solid. But the Pittsburgh Steelers pull it out. Aaron Rodgers, he's playing good. Old man's
Mm-hmm.
playing good. So they won the game 21-14, and what can you say? He did his thing.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say about that game. No, I really don't. Like,
Yeah.
I think when you talk about Aaron Rodgers and the way you feel about him, he comes off selfish,
Yeah. Yeah. To me.
but he got away with it because he was just so talented. And when you have all those, I think with 3 MVPs and you're beating up on the Bears, you're beating up on the Vikings, everybody in the NFC North, basically, especially the Lions at that time, and you're just winning, you could kind of get away with a lot of that stuff. So it's like, take everything I said about Baker Mayfield
Mm-hmm.
and now put when he first came into the league,
Yeah.
put that on Aaron Rodgers. But the
Yeah.
only difference is Aaron Rodgers was winning. So
Right.
it was more tolerated back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you see some of those antics. He's older. He's not as good as he was. And I was like, dude, like, we're over it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's old.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
I
Grow
know.
up.
I know.
And he's not going to grow up. He is who he is. So that aside, Steelers, they won the game. It is the Patriots. I don't expect much from the Patriots. Patriots is not a good team. Drake May is still, finding his way.
Yeah.
Vrabel is a steady coach, but Vrabel isn't going to do it. I mean, look at how Tennessee played with Vrabel.
Right.
It was uninspiring. It wasn't that great. They won a couple of games. They had Derrick Henry, and it was what it was what it was. But Vrabel, to me, isn't the type of coach that's going to move the needle for you to win unless you have supreme talent on that team. I mean, you have to have some really, really strong key players on both sides of the ball. And he doesn't have that. And if he doesn't have that, they're just going to be a middling team, right? And the Steelers, I expect them to win that game. They won the game, and we'll move on.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, we got 2 games left. So we got in this one the Indianapolis Colts beat the Tennessee Titans. What's your take on this one, man?
What, Indiana Jones, right? That's what they're calling him.
Yeah.
Danny Dimes.
Rescue.
But
Yeah.
like we talked about it at the beginning with the Giants letting go of good players.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a good player.
Yeah.
The way he is performing with the Colts, he was 18 of 25, 228 yards, a touchdown, steady, not turning over the ball, keeping everything efficient. He had Taylor, their running back, 17 attempts for 102 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Big.
So take those 3 touchdowns. They were all in the red zone, of course, basically goal line carries. You got Jones marching them down the field. 1 or 2 or even 3 of those touchdowns could have easily been a passing touchdown if they really wanted it to pad Jones' stats. But Jones is running this team, man. And Anthony Richards, I don't think he's getting this team back.
Yeah. No.
He's not getting this team back. Not the way Jones is playing. Unless Jones' play falls off a cliff, this is now his team. This is his team for the foreseeable future.
I agree.
And again, don't know what the Giants are doing with him. Don't understand why he couldn't have been doing this with the Giants. The personnel isn't that different.
No.
Switch Taylor, insert Barkley, right?
Right.
Same team.
Yeah.
Same capabilities, right? You have Pittman. I forgot who they had at the time, but they had decent receivers when
Yeah. Absolutely.
and Neighbors was there last year with him.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't get it. But Tennessee, nothing much to talk about there. Again, you got Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Cam Ward's still finding his way.
Yeah.
Gonna be a heck of a player, but there's nothing else around him. You got Tony Pollard as the running back. I can't even pronounce the wide receiver name. Okonkwo was the leading receiver for them. I thought Calvin Ridley would have been doing a little bit more this season with him because they seem to have had a really good connection during the preseason.
Right.
Lesson: don't look at preseason as an indicator of what people are going to be doing during the regular season, because obviously Ridley is non-existent. Yeah, Colts, they won a game they should have won, and they won it handily. So we see them next week with the Rams. I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about those on Friday. Last game of this recap. Monday night game. You had the Detroit Lions against the Baltimore Ravens. Detroit Lions come away with it 38-30. What more can Lamar Jackson do? I mean, what more can he do? I mean, he can't do everything. I mean, it looked like that at the end of the game, he was kind of frustrated with the play calls because they were running the ball up the middle. Derrick Henry fumble late again, which is
again
uncharacteristic of Derrick Henry. That's 3 fumbles,
in a row. Yeah,
that is true.
3 in a row.
Yeah, see that I don't know what's going on there, but they fall again, and they're 1-2. Baltimore Ravens is one of the best 1-2 teams out there, and I know they're gonna bounce back and they're gonna come back, but I want to hear your take, man, on what Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff is Jared Goff is making things out.
So I was thinking about coming on here and apologizing about all of my takes on Jared Goff, but I'm not going to do that because I think my takes are still valid.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's why, right? I think what the Lions did, they got their offensive coordinator, John Martin. They pulled him in a room. They're like, look, you see this playbook Ben Johnson left here? You're going to run this playbook. All that stuff you was trying to do, we don't want to see your plays no more.
Don't do it.
We don't want to see your plays no more. You saw the goal line touchdown where they had it was an option.
Yeah.
Right. Goff handed it off to Montgomery, and then he pitched it to Gibbs. That's a college play. That's a Ben Johnson play.
Yeah.
That ain't a John Martin play. That's a Ben Johnson play.
Yeah.
So with Goff, and I said it time and time again, right? All of those Goff fans out there, Goff he cannot carry the team by himself.
Yeah.
He can't.
Yeah.
But if you give him a strong running game, you give him good pieces around him to protect him. And I don't mean just the protection of the offensive line, but protect him in terms of keeping the defense off of him. If the defense is afraid of the run, they will be less likely to pressure him when they do decide to pass.
True.
Okay? So you had Goff. He was 20 of 28, didn't have to pass the ball much. 202 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Goff didn't do anything spectacular. He did what he was supposed to do. He can't carry the team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if you find yourself in a situation, Detroit, where the game is on Goff, the running game is non-existent, they're shut down, people are hurt, and he needs to carry that. He needs to pull a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
He can't do it. That's all I'm saying. This, I think, is more of them getting back to their roots. You have Montgomery, 12 rushing attempts for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. You have Gibbs, 22 rushing attempts.
Wow.
Right? 67 yards, 2 touchdowns.
They
ran the ball.
Yeah, they ran
the ball. That's what won them the game. It wasn't Goff.
Yeah.
It wasn't Goff. It was the running game, keeping the defense on their heels, keeping them honest, and then allowing Goff to pass in favorable situations.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. I got you. So, you know, I see you doubling down on this Goff situation there. So, you know, we're gonna keep tabs on this. And I agree with you on the rushing, you know, with the run game. You know, if the run game was shut down, then we would need to see what Goff is gonna do, right? But the run game was on; they was doing their thing, and they just overpowered Baltimore in this game. I feel bad for Lamar Jackson because the guy is doing everything he can do, man. He's doing everything he can do, and they just coming up short in these games. But I think they're going to turn it around. They'll be a playoff team regardless. I think Baltimore, unless they fall off a cliff, but I don't see that happening. But Derrick Henry really got to get it together when it comes to these fumbles, because these are crucial situations where he's fumbling the ball, and it's really, you can't come back from some of these things, man. Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll see how this goes over the next couple of weeks. Got some good games coming up. We'll talk about that on Friday, and you know, really just get ready for this next week, week 4, man.
All right, man. See you on Friday.
All right, man. See you then.